Hey guys, this is RLC's Fantastic Plastic coming back again with another build update video. This time we are going back to our TARDIS. Now I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do the top light yet, so I've kept these in their these things here in their correct order, because I might use a couple of those for like the top and bottom things. This is obviously going to be cut out and taken off, and a hole put in so I could put the LED through, because I found online an Arduino tutorial on how to do the lights and sounds for the TARDIS, and that's what I want, because I want the noise of the TARDIS starting up and disappearing and everything to time in with the flash of the LED. So it's going to control both of those, and then once it's done that, I want it to play the theme tune, and then the noise again, similar to what I done with Knight Rider. I put the scanner effect on, and that was just pure luck that I got that working in sync, and then go but do the same thing with this TARDIS model. Also, we need to paint it, and I found just the right colour. Is the I think it's an Ultramarine blue that I'm going to be using. The only thing is I'm not entirely sure what to... this needs a little bit of a sand here and there as well, so I need a very, very light sand. So that's, you know, because it's got some raised pieces here and there. But we also need to fill up some gaps and things like that, so we need to putty it. Now the only thing is, the putties that I've got are mainly for plastic. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to work on wood, so I'm going to find out, and I'm going to find out with this. We're going to start off with this, because it is, some of these are quite deep, which is a bit of a shame, and they're quite extensive gaps. And obviously in here we need to make sure that's all done and put some putty in there. So I'm not sure whether to use a 2-part epoxy, thin it down a bit, and like roll it into really thin and push it into the gaps there. Oh, excuse me for a moment. Yeah, okay, it's fine. It's just a misses. So that's what I want to do. I'm thinking of doing that, or I could just lay in the putty. Now the putty I'm thinking of using was this, because it will still work. It should still work. So I might use this squadron putty. I'll put some on these bits here and see how it goes. Where's my oobly? I have lost my oobly, and that's not my mine. And I've just knocked all those over. Dagnammit. No, that's fine. That's fine. Where is it? It's been sitting here. Oh, there it is. Here we go. So this is what I'm going to use to try and smooth it over. So let's get a nice piece of putty on there. And start by doing that. Now what's good about this putty is that it is sandable as well, so that's no problem. Let's get a bit more in here. And is that going to be enough to do these? No, need a little tiny bit more. Now, as I say, the only thing I'm really worried about is how am I going to be able to do those other bits, these really deep ingrained bits. Not entirely sure. a bit more. There we go. Because even now, even if I use this putty, I think it's still going to go. It's going to be like constantly putting stuff in there. I mean, these little bits here, it's not a problem with. But when this dries, it'll start sinking in. So I think I'll test it on one piece first of all, just this bit here, and see how we go. That is probably the best thing now. You know, I guess we could just do it all and we can see how we go from there, I think. Just see what happens to it. That's the now. I think that's the best way to go. And luckily this stuff is actually pretty quick drying as well. And there we go, let's get some of that in there. Okay. I'll get off some of this dried stuff. And it stinks to high heaven as well. So we can only find out by trial and error. And it looks like some of this is not even either. But being a wooden model, you wouldn't really expect it to be. Here, so we can see how bad or how good this will do in a few minutes. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry, and I will bring you guys back in a minute. Okay, so it seems to have worked. So let's just sand this one off. I'm using a sponge sander here because I don't want anything too harsh or abrasive at the moment. You don't want any lumps of the thing in the way. And so like this one I'm gonna have to do again. I don't know if you can see that because it's not quite right just yet. So we'll have a look at that. I mean, once I put a bit of primer on here, I'll be able to see exactly what's what. So let's do one of these bigger pieces. And we'll just go on doing this for a bit. And as you can see, that is actually still sunk in a little bit, so I'm going to need to do a few more passes at this, definitely. So I'm just going to go around sanding this off, and I'll bring you guys back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I've now sanded off most of it, and most of these are feeling nice and smooth, except for this one here, which I'm going to have to redo. These obviously I'm going to have to redo again because of there's still a bit of a gap in them, but mostly they're pretty much, with the sand in that, they're now pretty much flush. So hopefully this go around, everything should be pretty much okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and hopefully the next time next time I come back, I'm going to be ready to put a layer of primer on here. I'm not quite sure what colour primer to use just yet, black, grey or white. So it's going to be one of those, don't know which. But anyway, guys, I will be back in a minute. Just a quick note to mention as well. If we go into just a little bit close up here, when you're sanding, sand with the grain, don't sand against the grain. So like here, the grain's going upwards. If we go a bit closer in, no, are you gonna? There we go. You can see that the grain's going upwards, whereas here the grain is going sideways. So you'd need to sand sideways. Okay? And this one is going upwards. And this one here, it would have been sideways, and this one's going upwards, etc., etc. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. Otherwise, when you do go to paint it, it's not going to match your grain of wood. You're going to have funny lines going in different areas. Right, so all of those bits now are done, and they seem pretty good. So now we're going to start on this. Now this is where it's going to get tricky. Obviously I can't match the grain, so I'm just going to have to just go in one direction. And just keep sanding it away. So I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Okay, well that seems to be pretty much the best as I could get it now. I don't think I'm going to get it any better than that. So I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down with a dry cloth to get any dust off of it. And I think we are going to go with a white or black. See, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this obviously fits in the top of the model. I've sanded the edges down as well, so it's not such a tight fit, and I can put it in and pull it out. Okay. Because when I put the LED is actually going to be up inside here, and I'm going to obviously light block the bottom, so there's no. Oh, actually, yeah, no, I could have the light come in halfway in here, so it'll light up inside here as well. Don't know, yeah, I'll figure that one out closer to the time. But let's figure out what kind of primer I am going to use. I possibly think so I could go white, I could go with the grey, or I can go with the black. I guess it all depends on what shade of blue that I'm wanting. So I'm thinking of possibly going with the grey. It's a kind of like the mid in between things. So that's what I will do. And we're just going to see what this is gonna look like. I've already got my compressor on, because this stuff is quite thick. I've got a number 5 needle in here. I don't need too much. I am also going to put a little drop of fluid retarder in there, and a little drop of flow improver, because I find that these things tend to really make your make it stick to your nozzles and dries a bit too fast. So I'm just going to give that a little quick mix up. Okay, my compressor is on, and it's on about 20 psi, because I've got a number 5 needle in here. And what I'm first going to do is just hit it with some air, and then I need to take this off. There we go. And then just hit it with a coat of primer. There we go. One coat of primer has done, and you can barely see those bits in the middle. Barely. You can still make them out, but that's fine. It's fairly light. So I'm going to hit it with some air to give it a bit of a drying off, and I'm going to do another coat of primer just to be on the safe side. As I say, no doubt this is all going to soak in. And then go with another coat of primer. Did I switch that off? No, I haven't. Okay, there we go. So that's now all done. I'm going to let that dry and I'll bring you guys back in a minute. So I wanted to bring you back a minute because I wanted to talk about the paints I'm thinking of using. So I've got the Army Painter Ultramarine Blue just here. I've also got this Cheap and Nasty acrylic paint Ultramarine, which looks different to this Ultramarine Blue. Or I've got this Phthalo Blue, again from the same range. It's just a Cheap and Nasty acrylic paint. And I'm not sure which ones to use. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of each and put it on a piece of card, and I'm going to see what it will look like. So, where am I going to get the card from is the question. Yeah, there will do. It will do. Right. And what I need to very quickly do is I want to very quickly just splodge a little bit of a primer on here. Actually, let's scuff it up a bit. Now, this is a flat plastic. You know, I use these instead of pla plates or things like that because it's just a lot easier for me. So just a quick dab of primer on here. Let that dry off. And then I can just get a paintbrush and put a little dab of paint on here and see what one I'm going to use. So I'll bring you guys back in a minute. So here we go. First up, we're going to try the Army Painter Ultramarine Blue. Now it's supposed to be 100% matched to the whatchamacalls it? The Citadel Ultramarine Blue. So I'm going to put a dab on there like that. Get my brush and just spread it around just a little bit. Alright, clean that off. Now I'm going to get this ultramarine. Put a little dollop on here as well. You're going to come out at all? Yes, you are. Oh, that's really thick, this one. So it's going to have to be watered down quite a bit. And then the last one is this Phthalo Blue. Oops. And again, he looks definitely thick. I am actually let me get a bit more of this ultramarine blue on here. Right. I will be honest with you guys. There's the three different colours. There's the ultramarine blue from Army Painter. There's the ultramarine from the Cheap and Nasty Brunel Franklin acrylic paint range. But here is the Phthalo blue. I'm actually liking this colour for the thingy. It's actually a lot darker on camera for some weird unknown reason, and I can't make out why, but that is more like a TARDIS colour. So I'm going to go with this one, and we're going to give it a little go. I need to thin it down considerably, obviously. And I need to find a clean or an empty bottle to put it in. So I will bring you guys back in a bit. Okay, so I'm bringing you guys back because I thought it'd be a good idea to show you how I'm watered down and mix my paints. So I used one of my old vape bottles that had the liquid juice in. Obviously the paint, flow improver, fluid retarder to stop it drying, one funnel that should just about fit in there, because what I'm going to be putting in is this, which actually isn't deionized water. It was deionized water, but it's also a 50-50 mix of 1 drop of washing up liquid, about 50% deionized water, 50% 99% isopropyl alcohol, and 1 drop or a couple of drops of windscreen fluid, pure windscreen fluid, not the watered down stuff. And this is what I use as my thinner. So first things first, I'm going to add a few drops of these. You don't want to put too much in, otherwise, like with a fluid retarder, you put too much fluid retarder in, it's not going to dry. So I don't measure, I just put a little bit in, because I don't do the measurements, I just guesstimate, and 9 times out of 10 it comes out right. Similar again with the flow improver. Now this is the tricky part. This is the reason why I've got the funnel, just because this bloody mill goes everywhere whenever I've tried to put it in normally, and I'm only going to put about halfway for about halfway for now, and we'll see how that goes. And you watch me make a mess of this. Okay, yep, I made a mess. That's fine, that's fine. Right, plonk it down there. I really need to get a smaller funnel. That's what I need to do. Put that in there. Wipe up this mess here. There we go. So that's pretty much that. And now the rest, I'm going to use the colour. I'm just saying that this is quite thick, so that might be enough. So I'm going to put the lid on and give it a shake about and see what it looks like. See how thin it is. I might need to add more colour. Don't know yet. Give it a real good shake in this. Oh yeah. Right. So let's give it a quick test spray. Let me just quickly clean out my airbrush of the stuff I had in there before. Right, and let's put a few drops of this in. Right, so there's a colour. Let's give it a spray and see how it goes. might be a little bit too thin. So I might need to put some more colour in there, some more paint. So that's a bit too thin. So again, I'm just going to put a bit more paint in there and see how we go. Pull that off. And as much as I dared put in, because I don't want it too thick. And luckily, how I'm doing this should do the whole model. I'm hoping. Yes, I'm hoping. I'm hoping it should do the whole model. So again, give it another good old shake. Is that gone out? Yes, it has. Now I may need to do a few coats of this colour, because obviously we're being watered down. You may need to. Let's have a look and see what this looks like now. So plug that in there. Give it a quick spray, make sure there's nothing left over. Oh, that's better. That is much, much better. There we go. Let's do it just on the corner here so you can see it. Compared to how thin the other one was, this one is covering a lot better now. So that's the colour we're going to use. So I'm going to put a few more drops in here. And we will make a start. Okay, let that first coat dry, and then we'll go in with some more. Right, there we go. I mean, it looks like I may need to do a few more hits on certain bits. Add a little bit more there. Okay, so I'm going to bring you guys back once this is dry. And okay, we're back, so that's pretty much dry now. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Only problem is, where I put that putty, the filler, it's shiny. I'm hoping when I put a dull coat over the top of this, that'll disappear. It's still not dry in a few places, but it gives you the colour. This is the colour of the TARDIS. This is what I want. This is it. Excuse me. So I'm just going to bring the TARDIS over here. Put said lid on. Bring this up a bit, and there you go. That just gives you an idea of the colour. Yeah, baby. Oh, this is going to look good. This is going to look good. Now, I know a few things I've noticed as well. There's like a sizable gap there. And I'm not too sure whether I should keep that or not. Or there's some holes in there, obviously, that need to be filled in. I've still got to find out what I'm going to do. I need to cut that little piece off, then drill a hole for the LED. I need to cut this piece off, then drill a hole for the LED on this. I need to figure out what I'm going to use as a housing for it. As I say, I'm going to use some of these things as a base and a top, so that'll give me a rough idea. I need to paint inside here black, drill a hole at the bottom where I can get the wires coming out, and I may have to put I'm going to be using an Arduino Nano for this, because I don't think I'll be able to put it onto an AT-Tiny 8.5 circuit, because I don't think the AT-Tiny will be able to handle the sound as well. I need to buy a speaker system and everything else for this as well. Obviously, I need to fill in all of the gaps and everything that are on the TARDIS, and I have to be careful of when I paint this as well. I would have liked to be able to light this up, but I'm not going to be able to. So I'm just going to have to paint it normally, mask everything off, paint it white, and then carefully go in there and paint the public call boxes the black. So because the inside here is going to be white. Then I need to do this part here. I need to get little pieces of metal, which I do have some tiny brass rods that I can make handles on here for the doors. Get some clear or semi-clear. I think I might use my milk bottle trick as the windows. Glue those in, but I want to paint inside here black first. And I want the LED. I want the LED to show inside here, to light inside here as well as the outside, as on top of the roof. So it shows that this is like flashing inside there, because inside the TARDIS, he's got that thing that goes up and down, and it lights up when it's doing that. So that's going to simulate that. So it almost looks like that's the lights happening inside the TARDIS. The switch I'm going to have to put at the bottom here as well. As I said, the Arduino I'm going to have to put in there, and the battery I'm going to have to put in there as well. So the Arduino and the battery are both going to have to be inside here, but the switch I'm going to put underneath here. I'm hoping I can get a switch that's just flush enough so I can just flick it on and let it be. So there you go. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing with the TARDIS, how I'm going to work. I've decided to keep some of these lines in to make it look like it's wooden panels. They're a lot better than they were, but they're not really deep anymore. And as I say, some of these I've got really big cracks in that I need to, and holes and everything like that. As you can see, there's holes there. There's some really deep gaps and things like that I need to fix. There's a nice gap there. Basically, I just try to make it look a little bit nicer. And there's another nice big gap right there. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave this video here, and I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. At least you got to see the colour I'm going to be using for the TARDIS. And I shall see you guys in the next video. You take care of yourselves. Bye bye now.